Spy Who Dumped Me is a spy movie that came out last week that, again, I am just now getting to this week. I feel like I'm going to be apologizing for this over the next few videos, but for now, I'm hoping you guys at least enjoy this review. The Spy Who Dumped Me stars Kate McKinnon and big-eyed Mila Kunis. By the way, I am saying big eyes in an affectionate, endearing way, not in a derogatory way. I personally love Mila Kunis, and I love her big-ass eyes. I mean, can you just imagine those big-ass eyes looking up at you while... You know what? Actually, let's I'm not going to project my nasty shit onto this video, so let's just get on with the review. Like I said, this is a spy movie, and in this spy movie, Mila Kunis is dealing with a bad breakup from her boyfriend. Her boyfriend who just so happens to be a spy. And her boyfriend gets mixed up in some very dangerous things with some very dangerous people, and all of a sudden, her life is being impacted by her ex-boyfriend and his spy activities. Because her life is affected, the life of her best friend, played by Kate McKinnon, is also affected. And so, the two of them have to go on this big, huge spy adventure where they have to do a whole bunch of spy activities, and they're just regular people. Along the way, twists and turns and action sequences, and you have another buddy cop spy action comedy movie. As usual, I'll start with the things that I did like about this movie. Mila Kunis, I like her. I really do like her. I think she's an underrated actress. She has shown with movies like Friends with Benefits and Ted that she has some comedic chops, and she can definitely bring that to a comedy movie. She definitely played her part well, and I do have a lot of love for her character in this one. I also really like the chemistry between her and Kate McKinnon. When I say the word Kate McKinnon, a lot of people either roll their eyes or they start laughing, because Kate McKinnon is one of those polarizing comedic talents that was taken from Saturday Night Live, that was put on the big screen, and now everybody's kind of divided on her. I've talked to as many people that hate Kate McKinnon and think that she's annoying as many people that love Kate McKinnon and think she's hilarious. Me personally, I think that she's funny. I do think her act has gotten kind of old in recent movies where all she really does is play the same character. This happens to a lot of comedians, unfortunately. A lot of them get typecast and a lot of them get stuck playing the same type of role over and over again because, hey, it's funny, and hey, it makes money, so hey, we just have to do this for every movie. Kate McKinnon usually is playing a very exaggerated version of a human being in her movies, but in this one, I like the fact that her character was toned down a little bit. She acted a little bit more normal. She acted a little bit more functional in this movie, and again, I did like her chemistry with Mila Kunis. In a big budget spy comedy buddy cop movie like this, sometimes the premise of the movie and the structure of the movie itself is resting on the chemistry and how good or bad it is. And I gotta say, the chemistry actually was pretty decent, so I did like them together, and I did buy the fact that they were good friends. The one thing that this movie does nail more than anything else, it doesn't really nail the clever twists and turns of a spy movie, and the comedy, we'll get to that in a sec. But the thing that this movie does nail is it actually does have some pretty gritty and badass action sequences. I was watching the action scenes in this movie, and I was just like, oh, wait, whoa, holy, Mission Impossible Fallout was a couple of weeks ago. Am I sure this isn't like an excerpt from that movie? Don't worry, it is nowhere close to being as good a film as Mission Impossible Fallout. But I'm just saying, the action scenes in this movie definitely deserve a lot of praise. The problem with the rest of the movie, though, is that tonally speaking and from an execution standpoint, it really doesn't do enough to satisfy any part of the genres that it's trying to satisfy. Like I said earlier, it's not clever enough or smart enough to be a good spy movie. It's also not funny enough to be a comedy movie, which is a problem because the two biggest hooks of this movie are the spy and the comedy element. So when the spy shit isn't really working and it's getting too dumb and convoluted, the comedy stuff is what you lean on, but the problem is the comedy in the movie doesn't really work all that well either. Over the course of the movie, the jokes just get worse and worse and worse. A lot of them start to fall flat. A lot of them start to feel forced. By the time the third act was starting, I was just sitting there like, yo, whoever wrote the comedy in this movie, did you guys just give up when the screenplay was being written? Like, the longer the movie and the production process went on, did you guys just get lazier and lazier to the point that towards the third act of the movie, we'll just pull anything out of our ass and hope that people laugh at it? And while the movie does have fun action scenes, I can't even say that the action scenes are the point of the movie. It's a spy comedy movie that has good action in it. And you can have a spy movie that has great action in it, and you can have a great action movie that has some spy elements, but in terms of how they approach their respective genres, it's different. This movie just didn't execute it well enough on any level for me to have an enjoyable time. Not to mention, the pacing of this movie was ass, and towards the end of the movie, I started to feel like I had been there for 3 hours. Towards the end of the movie, there's just a couple of subplots that pop up in the movie where I'm just kind of like, why did that went nowhere? Why was that there? A lot of stuff is tacked on to the third act of this film to make it feel like it's longer than it needs to be. Overall, I think this is a very forgettable, subpar spy action comedy movie, whatever you want to call it. In the end, it's not awful, but it's also not good enough to recommend. So I'll say it's a guilty pleasure type of movie, and I will put it in Smallville. Alright, 2 movies down and about 10 to 15 more videos to go until I'm completely caught up with life. Okay, guys, so tell me, what's your favorite buddy cop spy movie of the last, let's just say 5 to 10 years? Go ahead and put that in the comment section below. Like and subscribe to the Superfan Show, and as always, if you like what you see, tell me how you feel, and stay tuned to hear more from the Man of Steel. Peace!